Hello everyone, my name is Kat and welcome back to my channel, and if you've never been on my channel before, welcome to the channel. Today I really contemplated if I wanted to make this video because it's a subject that is difficult for some people, me included, so I haven't really been sure if I wanted to make it, but I feel like I need to, mostly for me, honestly. So basically, and I'm just gonna say it, I believe it was 2 weeks ago. I think it was 2 weeks ago on May 21st. My grandpa died. Now, for me personally, I don't like the word, this is just a weird thing. I don't like the term died. I prefer the term, I also don't like saying I lost my grandpa because I didn't lose him. I like to say that he ascended to a different plane of existence, basically, because that is what death is to me, is when your soul leaves your body and you go on to a different journey, into a different plane of existence. Wherever that may be, whatever dimension that may be, just some otherworldly thing. That is just kind of how I like to process it, because to me, I just don't like I lost someone, because you didn't lose them. Because you still have them, they're still with you, they're just not in this plane anymore. Does that make sense? So we knew this was coming. We knew that it was a matter of time, because he got sick and it was just quickly declining after that. And so we knew that it was going to happen. But what's interesting about it is that even though we knew that it was going to happen and we knew it was just a matter of time, when it did happen, it was like, I don't know how to explain it. It was like, it wasn't sudden or shocking. It was just like we weren't prepared for it, if that makes sense. For me, and I think I mentioned this on this channel before, my relationship with death isn't necessarily the greatest. I just don't compute it very well. It's like part of my mind can't handle it, so it just completely shuts down. And I don't know if it's because, like, I feel like I need to be strong for other people in my life to give them strength so that way they can get through this, or if it's just my mind's defense mechanism so that way when I am ready to handle it, I can, but right now I'm just not. And it's weird because it comes off like I don't care, or like it doesn't hurt, because I haven't cried yet. It's been 2 weeks, but I haven't cried yet. And it just comes off like I don't care, or like it doesn't bother me, which that's not the case. It's just like the way that I process it. And I know that everybody processes death and grief and everything differently. And there was a time in my life where I thought there was something wrong with me for processing it in the way that I do. And then after a while I realized there's nothing wrong with me, it's just the way that I process death. People cry, people get angry, people grieve, and then some people kind of just shut down until they're ready to feel it. But I knew that it was coming. I was at work when I got the message, when I got the news. My family, my parents and my sister and I use WhatsApp to talk to each other. And I knew the moment I saw my mom's message that I knew what she was going to say. I knew what was going to come in the message, and I kind of had to try to mentally prepare myself for it before I listened to it. And then I told my manager that I had to go, and basically what happened, and then I left and my sister and everybody and I went to my grandma's house to be with everyone. And the way that we all process everything is different, and you know, we laugh and we cry and we eat and we drink and it's very Viking of us, and we try to remember the good things and, you know, try to get through it the best that we can. But one thing that I've always loved about my family is that we're always there for each other and we care about each other, and that I think is really important. And that makes me very lucky to be able to say that we're close. And to me, it's beautiful that the reason this hurts so much is because of the love and joy and warmth and the good things. That's why it hurts so much, because it mattered. And he mattered so much. So the past 2 weeks have been just kind of, to me, it's so weird. I kind of really understand the term uncomfortably numb so much more than I did before. Because that's kind of the state that I'm in, where I'm like, I'm numb and trying to move through life like I normally would, but it's uncomfortable and strange. And it's weird because after someone moves on, after someone ascends to that different plane of existence, it's like we don't know what to do with ourselves. It's like life keeps moving even though someone died, and continuing life, going to work, seeing friends, going to get food, going to events, feels weird, even though these are things that you would be doing normally, even like before someone died. But it feels weird now because someone you loved just died, but you still have to keep moving on with life. It's weird. Life is weird. And what's also interesting is that, and I've always found this interesting, is that you can sense death, or at least I can. And by that I mean, and I am an empath, but by that I mean it's like, and I'm sure other people have experienced this, where if you've been around someone that died, and it's like there's a part of you that can sense it and doesn't want to be around it. And I think it's because one of your base primal instincts is to live and to continue to live. So when you're around death, there's a part of you that's like, I can't be around that. And I find that interesting. But it's odd. It's weird to me that, and I stayed at my grandma's house with my grandma and my mom and my aunts and my uncles for 2 days, and everybody just kept walking around and trying to find random things because none of us knew what to do with ourselves. Like, none of us knew what to say, what to do, and so it was just like walking around, and people were sleeping and then waking up and snacking and then going back to sleep, and it was like just aimlessly walking around trying to figure out what to do with ourselves. And it's because, like, what do you do after that? Like, how am I supposed to keep being a person and keep living life after I lost someone that I'm really close to? And my grandparents were together for 63 years. That's a long time to be with someone. And my brain just can't wrap around the fact that my grandma, who was with someone for 63 years, isn't now. And I just can't understand how that is supposed to make sense. And for some reason, it makes less sense than my mom losing her dad. And I think it's because it's a part of life to lose your parents. And even though we know that life is not infinite, life is finite, and that eventually everybody is going to die, even though we know that, and we know that one day we're going to be, sorry, my cat scared me. We're going to be living our lives without our parents. For some reason, it's like we just don't think about it. It's like we just go through life not thinking about it. And then when it does happen, it's like this big shock. And it's so interesting that even though we know it's going to happen eventually, it still shocks us. It still hurts as if we never knew. And I think that's why, for some reason, my brain is like, my mom lost her dad. And that's really, really sad, and that hurts, and it's inevitable, but for some reason, my grandma losing her life partner doesn't make sense at all. I don't know if there's anybody out there who, I'm sure there's people out there who understand what I mean. I just don't, like, I've been with my boyfriend for almost 9 years, and he's a huge part of my life. He's one of the most important people in my life, and when I think about losing him now, I can't even fathom that. Like, it doesn't even make sense to me. So someone losing their life partner after 63 years, I just can't. And then also, maybe I don't like thinking about the fact that my mom lost her dad, because I don't want to think about the fact that one day I might lose my parents. That doesn't even... Because, like, I think children see their parents as gods. You know, and I'm lucky to be able to say that I have a really great relationship with my parents. We are so close with each other. They're two of my soulmates. I am so lucky to be able to say that. And I think children see their parents as gods. And so the thought of them getting hurt or making mistakes or dying just doesn't make sense. And I always referred to my grandpa as Terminator because there was a few times in the past where we were like, this is it. And then he'd be fine and he'd get back up. And I think there was a part of me that felt the same way when I found out he was sick. And I think that was just like a strange defense mechanism. And so I spent those 2 days with my grandma and my mom and my aunt and my uncles and just spending time with everyone. And they were telling me that I have good energy, and I was like, good, like, take as much of it as you need to give you strength or happiness or whatever, some kind of peace. I can handle that, and then when I go home, I will replenish, I will build up that strength again, and then if you need it more, you know, because, like, I can't do a lot. I can be there, and I can love you, and I can hug you, and I can listen to you, but I can't take the pain away, and I can't give you peace. But if my energy and my strength can give you some sense of peace or happiness for the short time that I'm there, then please take it from me. Take as much as you need. I am a tough cookie, and I can build up my strength and my energy afterwards. And granted, to be honest, when I got home after those 2 days, I felt like I hadn't slept in days. I was exhausted, probably because of that energy. And I stayed there Sunday night and Monday night. Monday night, I got a world-ending migraine. And I don't know if it's because of all the energy and the emotions or because I haven't cried yet, but I hadn't had a migraine like that where it made me sick since I was really young. So I don't know what triggered it, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't, you know, pretty sure it was just all the emotions. But that was like, that was awful. But I don't know. My mom tells me things are okay. She took my grandma to go get her hair permed, to get her hair done, which I don't know about you, but I'm the kind of person that when I do my hair or get my hair cut, it's almost like a clarification. It's kind of like, you know, taking a weight off your shoulders. And even though, like, you know, it's not a permanent thing, for those few days, it just makes you feel good. And so they went and got their hair done, and I guess the day before yesterday, they got his ashes. He's back home, and they picked out a beautiful urn and an everlasting candle, and my mom said that once they got the urn, it became more real. Not that it wasn't real, but that it was just like even more real. Like it was the end of a chapter, you know? Like it was that final moment of, okay, this is actually real, you know? And I've just been kind of going through the motions, working and seeing people that I love, and things are changing in my work life, and I'm going on a trip with my sister next month that I'm not going to talk about yet, but I'm really excited about it, and there's this sense of relief. And it might be wrong of me to say it, but I'm relieved that it happened before we went on this trip, because there was a part of me that was concerned that it would happen when we weren't home, when we were in a completely different place, and we wouldn't be able to get home, and it would crush my sister and I. And so there was a part of me that was relieved that it happened that way. Kitty. But there's also a sense of relief for my grandpa, because I'm sure he was in pain, and I'm sure he just wasn't comfortable. And now he's with his mom and his dad, and with my Uncle Barry, who died when I was young, and with the dogs, and you know, I truly believe within every part of me that he's at peace, and he's with people that he loves, and also that he's with us. Because I swear, when I was at the house and everybody was asleep and I was sitting in the living room and I was watching videos, I heard someone go in the kitchen behind me, and I was the only one awake. And when I told my mom, she nodded and said, it was probably Grandpa. And so I'm one of those people that believes that he's here with me, and he's with the family, and he's also with my Uncle Barry and with the dogs and his parents, and he's at peace. And that brings me a lot of comfort and a lot of relief. The other relief that I feel is I know that the weeks leading up to everything was really stressful and difficult for my mom and my aunt and my uncle and my dad and my grandma. The constant anxiety and fear of, if I leave the room, if I leave the house, he's gonna go. The constant fear that he's not gonna be breathing, and just that anxiety that comes with that. I feel a sense of relief for them that they don't have to feel that anymore. And maybe that's wrong of me to feel. It's just like an encompassing relief of now I don't have to worry about every phone call that I get from my mom and my dad. Like, there are times when I worry about phone calls from my parents, because like if they're calling me at 3 in the morning, I know there's something wrong. Or if they're calling me when I know they're at work, or when they know I'm at work, I know there's something wrong. But for the past months, it's been every time I get a message from my mom or my dad, it had just been like, oh, okay, this is the message. And now that it happened, I don't have to worry about that anymore. So there's that. But I'm also relieved that I'm not thinking about all of the bad things, like what I could have said, what could I have done, if I should have visited more, because I haven't thought of those things. Because one, I don't think my grandpa would be very happy with me if I did feel that way. And two, I have so many beautiful and amazing little heavens, little memories with my grandfather in them that they outweigh those worries. And because I know that those worries do nothing for me. They do nothing for me other than make me feel terrible. And that it's better to think of the good memories and the good things, and the things I did say, the things I did do, the times I did visit, the hugs I did give. You know, the times I saw him dancing with my grandma in the living room and I would hear him sing, or when he would tell me stories about helping build the thing that helped get the people off the moon with, and that he knew Neil Armstrong, or the railroad, or the fact that he loved old Westerners, you know, or certain songs that I know because of him, and just stuff like that, things that actually matter, that'll stay with me. I don't want to think about negative things. I don't want to think about what I could have said, what I could have done. I want to think about the things that I did say, I did do. Those are what matter. Those are the things that you need to hold on to. Those are the things, the good things, that are going to keep your love and your memories alive. The things that keep that person with you. And I also don't want to make him mad by thinking about all those negative things, you know, and I want to do things that he would be proud of. I want to live my life in a way that he would be proud of, and I am sad that he won't see me get married or if I have kids. But even though I won't see him see them, that doesn't mean he's not seeing them. He'll just be in a different plane of existence. So I don't know how I feel right now. There are times I feel positive, there are times I don't. There are times where I feel really tired and negative. There are times where I don't feel anything at all. But I think that's just kind of the cycle of life and things after someone dies. And it's also the sadness of the death, but also the sadness I feel for my mom and for my grandma and for my aunt, my uncles, and my dad. Because even though he says he's okay, I know that this experience bothered him, and I remember when my dad lost my grandma. And like, I'm pretty sure this kind of just brings that up, and I feel sad for that because that was really hard, and it's just rough. It's rough. And I keep thinking about Father's Day coming up, and my grandparents' anniversary, and Thanksgiving, and Christmas, and how it, and if my grandma, of course, if my grandma wants to celebrate those things, if she wants us to come over for Thanksgiving or Christmas, that is absolutely up to her. But just like thinking about those holidays moving forward, you know, without them in this physical plane with us. So, you know, I'm just kind of scattered, obviously, you can tell. But, you know, I'm just trying to get through it all and tell myself it's okay to have those moments where it hurts and where it's sad. And that it's okay to also not be, and just kind of go through life. And you know, there's no right way to grieve. There's no right time to feel better. There's no right thing you can say or do for people. It's just, you just go through and you do, and eventually you make it out the other side. Sometimes the best way through the forest is through. And to me, grief isn't even a big enough word. I don't think there is an actual word that exists for the way it actually feels. I think people called it grief because they couldn't think of anything else and it was easy, but I don't think there's a word beautiful enough or big enough to describe how it feels when you lose, when someone that you love dies. But it's one of those things that all of us universally know what it feels like on some level. So I'm gonna go and move through life with love and peace and live my truth and go through my journey and hold on to the memories that I do have and smile whenever I think of them and live a life that I think he would be proud of. And so that's what I'm gonna do. As for tonight, though, I'm going to eat the rest of my Subway sandwich, and I'm going to watch a movie it sounds morbid and messed up, but I want to watch Dawn of the Dead, and that's because horror is my safe place. Horror is what I watch when I feel anxiety and stuff, which is weird but true. And I'm gonna nap. I think I'm gonna nap, and then I think I'm gonna clean because it's been a fuck show in this apartment, and I need to make sure I get it clean before we go on this trip. And I'm the kind of person that procrastinates and will put it off till last minute, and I can't do that. So, yes. But if anybody has any advice or thoughts, or has gone through a death recently or not, if anybody wants to talk about it respectfully, kindly, and gently, please feel free to comment in the comments down below. If anybody just needs to talk, just let it out. Again, respectfully and nicely in the comments, please do. And, yeah. I'm gonna go, and I hope that you have a wonderful day, and thank you for joining me in this video. If you want to subscribe, feel free. It's up to you if you want to do that. If you don't, that's cool too. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day and a beautiful night. Please be safe. Know that I love you. And this is Kat signing off. Bye. I keep forgetting to film this part before I go. The song of the week this week that I'm going to put in the description down below is Don't Worry About Me by Francis. It is one of my favorite songs, and I think is a really good one for this video. If you watch the music video though, be prepared to potentially cry because it's going to hit you in your heart places. But yeah, so give it a check out, give it a listen. Don't Worry About Me by Francis in the description down below.